Hey everyone, it is the odds couple and it's week 7 already. Wow, almost.
Already, I know. 2 months in. Holy craps.
And I went 3-1 last week, did much better. And what did you do, Mike?
4-0.
All
4-0,
right,
as
he
the
had a perfect
Canadians would
week.
say. I
So the
did. I did. That put me above 500 now, finally. Whoa, even though I went 1-3 last week, I think I'm a game or two up above 500 now.
oh, I think I'm only a game behind now, but
Yep. That sounds
yeah,
about
that
right. Because
that half a point, like it was. I was like.
you had another one
I
of
was
those
like,
this
I
week,
go,
too.
just score a touchdown, just score a touchdown, and then Baltimore can win by 3 and be like right around what I said.
Yeah, I had some really bad picks 2 weeks ago taking the Browns, and they just got waxed this week. I was on the other side of the coin where most of the games I won by were pretty dominating in fashion. There was not a whole lot of controversy, shall we say.
No, we did get the over in our Oregon Ohio State pick.
You
Um,
did.
we did because I think that what was it, 31-32, and the over
Hmm.
was 56.5.
Yeah. Sorry about your little Buckeyes, but hey, there's a good thing they have expanded playoffs this year, as you alluded to earlier in the year.
Right. And, if you watch the game, I don't know if you did, but like at the end where you have 12 men on the field, it's supposed to be a penalty. You're not even supposed to run a play. And you're supposed to have that time back, and they didn't. And I was like, And if you just kept watching the clock, I'm like, it just started. There was an offensive penalty. It just started. Don't you get the option of either using your
That's
timeout?
just damn good coaching. That's damn good
I don't
coaching.
know if
So
it was
they
damn
start the
good
clock
coaching. So,
again, and
or
the
the
quarterback was
officials were from
confused as hell.
Oregon or whoever the timekeeper was, because I was like, yeah, there's about 15 seconds that they got stolen
Well,
from them, but it's
wasn't there
okay.
like a pick earlier in the game that they said wasn't a pick? That was actually favored Ohio State. It's like when the tight end was like falling down with the ball, and actually Oregon State came up
I
with it,
didn't
but
think it
they're
was a
like,
pick.
no,
Tie
no,
goes to the receiver.
it clearly was. It
It clearly
clearly
was
was.
not a pick. Tie goes to the receiver.
Why they didn't review that remains to be seen. I didn't get that one at all.
Well, that was good coaching because they got up and snapped the ball so they could.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. That
Ah.
is true. Well, I think it's good coaching to put 12 men on the field and confuse the hell out of the Ohio State quarterback.
He didn't confuse that. And the coach was
Yeah, he thought the clock was stopped.
the coach was literally telling me, "Hey, look, there's 12 men on the field. Count, refs count." But anyways, all right. So what are we doing this week? What's your first pick this week?
My first one is I've always, over my years, loved to pick the Steelers when they're dogs, especially, and I think you and I are on the same train on this one, especially when they're playing at home. I think they stink it up when they're favorites because Pittsburgh's always played to their competition historically. Like if they're favorites, they play down to the level of the points. If they're underdogs, they play up. So I'm going dogs. I'm going Steelers versus the Jets. Steelers are catching 2 points at least as of today's sesh. So I'm going Steelers at home +2.
I agree. I am doing the same reason. I get that the Jets have Aaron Rodgers, but he has thrown an interception in all of his games this year. And who is the number one takeaway defense? Steelers. So it makes sense
Yeah.
that they'll probably get a pick or two and probably a forced fumble or two. Because that's just how they play. They play bully ball.
They do. They make it look dirty and ugly. And I think, even though I think the Jets looked a little better, but again, I don't know if that was a fluke. Obviously, it wasn't still good enough to win, thanks to field goal kickers who on either side could seem to freaking kick it through a barn. So, yeah, I'm with you on that. I don't, like you said, they have Devontae Adams. I don't know after that trade this week. I just don't know that that's that quick of a turn, to get to know the offense and be super, super
And
impactful. But yes, we'll
And
see.
how is Garrett Wilson going to respond to that? Because,
Hmm.
he's kind of got diva mentality too. He's actually an alum from Ohio State. Good wide receiver. He's not as good as um, Njigba and Marvin Harrison.
Mm, yeah, agreed. I think the Jets,
or
I
a lot.
mean, you put yourself in that position, but obviously they got a nice little cheapy touchdown right there at half with the little Hail Mary. So that helped them. But, you create your own luck. So can't really say that I use that against them.
Yep. All right.
All
So
right. What you got for pick deuce?
I'm going to take the over in the Texans Packers game. That one's 3 points Packers. They are at home. Probably the best home field advantage is in Green Bay. The fans are really loyal there. They come out, they're very loud, very supportive. I'm going to say the over because I think neither defense is going to be able to shut down either Jordan Love or CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud, didn't have a lot of yards, but he had like 3 or 4 touchdown passes last week. Houston really opened it up. They were playing New England. New England is good defensively, but the Houston's defense forced a lot of turnovers, which made it easy for the Houston's offense to score as well. So I'm going to take the over. I'm going to root for the Texans and just see what happens.
I like it. I'm right there with you, sister. I am going with the over. Like you alluded to, Packers scored 34 points last week. Houston scored, 41 points last week. However, yes, it was against a terrible Cardinals defense, and the Patriots are mediocre at best. I do like that, and I think that'll go over. The only thing I would watch for, because I didn't do my homework on that, is what's the projected weather, because naturally Green Bay can be a one-off weird snow, wind, chaos, and it might be a ground and pound game, but I don't know. I would check the weather before you put that bet in.
But it's October. It shouldn't be snow yet.
It's Wisconsin.
True.
Yeah. Perfect. My number 3 pick is going to, I think this is where we start differentiating a little bit. I am Detroit versus Minnesota. I'm going to take the over on that. As we were talking about pre-call, we know Hutchinson unfortunately broke his fibula and tibia. He's out for the year. I think Jefferson takes advantage of the time that the quarterback's going to have to pass the ball. So I think that's going to be a lot of offense there. We've seen a lot of offense between the two. Although Minnesota's defense has been much, much better this year for sure. I just think one of the stats I saw is Goff has been the best against the blitz than most quarterbacks. Maybe I don't have that exact stat in my head, but and the Vikings, I do have that stat, are like the number 1 blitzing team. So
That's
I'm
what
thinking
Brian
if you line
Flores
those,
likes to do. He likes to blitz.
that
And
is true. So I think Goff was like 12.9 yards per attempt on the blitz. So that's putting him in pretty good
yeah.
top talent against the blitz. So I'm going to take Detroit versus Minnesota over 49.5 and see what happens.
And I'm going to take the Raiders versus the Rams. I'm going to take the Rams -6.5 because the Raiders have nothing. They traded away their best player. Hopefully they don't trade away back to Crosby too. I mean, like they were anemic offensively against Pittsburgh. And the week before, it's like, what the hell? I'm like, and granted, Devontae Adams was injured, but still, you, I just don't understand. We didn't
Did
do
you
anything,
see?
like the Raiders didn't do anything in the offseason to get a quarterback. So they took the backup quarterback from Indianapolis, and now he's benched for the backup quarterback that they used last year. So why that guy didn't just start, I don't know. I
They remind me of the Broncos. The Broncos went through so many years of start this guy, start that guy. The post Peyton Manning era was
but
comical.
but the Rams have a much better coach. I'm not saying Antonio Pierce. He's just unproven. It's his first year. You got a guy who's a Super Bowl winning coach. He knows how to coach offensively. I know they've got the injury bug as well, but everyone has the injury bug. The Rams, I think, are just better. And I think they're a touchdown better.
Yeah, yeah, I think that'll be true. I never know what the Raiders, but I would tend to agree with you. And losing Devontae Adams has got to be, even though he hadn't played the last few weeks, so I guess not really had made an impact. But you can see the results of what he's not playing as one less talented player on the team.
I think
All
the
right, what
contest
is?
between who's the biggest dumpster fire, the Jets, the Browns, or the Raiders. Like all
Oh,
those owners are like, hold my beer. Let me see what I can do because the Browns traded away Mari Cooper too. I'm like, what are
yeah.
you doing?
Did you see who's the couple of the minority owners now of your Las Vegas
Oh
Raiders?
yes,
They're going to
that
be
is
in
the one.
town more
So
often.
so maybe Tom Brady can, the football Jesus, maybe he can he can do some of his miracles and maybe he has some sort of say on how to actually run a team because he knows how to win. So we'll
Yeah,
see.
yeah. Maybe
We'll
you'll
see.
see him down on the strip when you're down there one day.
Maybe he needs to buy a house.
Get him, get him. All right, pick number 4 for you. Or
Ravens,
is it my turn?
uh,
Yeah, it's your turn. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Ravens and the Buccaneers. I'm gonna
All
take
right.
the Ravens -3.5. Baker Mayfield's having a really, really good year, but you got the 1-2 whammy of Lamar Jackson and then Derrick Henry. Can't stop them. I think it'll be
Mm-hmm.
a hard fought game. I think it'll be a high scoring game because the defense of both teams is not stellar. Ravens, though, have a little more grit, I think. So I'm gonna say Ravens -3.5. They'll take the Bucks down in Tampa Bay.
All right. I like that. I think that'll be a great game. I think that's going to be a fun one to watch. My last pick is going to be as crazy as this is, and hopefully they don't do a Browns on me because I went with Browns one time and got just smoked. Was I'm going to take the Giants +3 versus Philly. I don't really see Philly dominating teams yet, although usually midseason or somewhere in there, they usually turn this ship around and then they dominate. So I'm sure this week will be the game that they turn it around and absolutely dominate. However, they do have injuries on their offensive line. Their tight end Goddard is hurt, and Darius Slay, and their defensive back, is out as well. And I would pay special note and attention before betting this one again on Sunday would be Neighbors. Malik Neighbors, is he going to play or not for the Giants? Because that could have another positive effect on that Giants bet. So I'm going to take the Giants +3, even though at the beginning of the year I'm like the 3 teams I will never bet is Carolina, the Giants, and Washington. However, look at Washington now. Giants are coming around. Their defense is actually pretty strong on that line. They are actually causing some chaos and ruckus there. Daniel Jones getting a little more time to pass the ball. Still probably makes some poor decisions, but when he's terrible when he's under pressure, that's for sure. So if the line can hold up against Philly, taking the Giants +3.
That's divisional game, so it'll be close. They all play each other differently. All the divisions, especially, rivals like that, Philly and Redskins. I mean, anybody who plays Philly, especially in that division, they really don't like one another. But I agree with you. I think that it'll be close, maybe like a 1-point pick 'em game. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but it'll be close.
I see, and the Giants are at home, so I think that's another thing. Take the dog on the Steelers at home, and take the Giants as a dog at home. So that's my trending theme, and then 2 over. So another trending theme for me there.
So on my quick bonus bets, it's kind of like I guess if you're a DraftKings player or
Mm-hmm.
if you just can bet individually because in Vegas you can't play DraftKings. But anyways, which is crazy to
True
me.
that.
But Nick Chubb, he is coming back. I know he's coming back from a gruesome injury, but he is an excellent running back. He is a solid, thick running back. Hopefully he comes back to form. I say because Cincinnati's not the best against the run, that he runs for over 100 yards. So I would put that in your fantasy pick if you can do +100 or however you do that, that he runs for 100 yards.
I like it. I like it. I was just gonna go look for one of my quick stat notes, and I would say, oh, while I'm sitting here contemplating that, I would go, no, I'm gonna leave it off because I haven't pre-researched it, so I don't want to just throw a rando out there. So I'm gonna take a flyer, even though I love Texas Longhorns for college football. My bonus bet, without a whole lot of thought behind it, is Georgia. I'm gonna take Georgia in a game against the number 1 team in the country because Georgia just seems to show up and play when they really need to. So I'm going to take Georgia Bulldogs.
I'll put in an extra one. I'm going to say Miami -5 over Louisville.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah,
I know
that's good.
they've been the heart attack kids like the previous two games, but I think this one that should be solid. I know they're playing in Louisville, but Miami's still a ranked team, and that Cam Ward, he's my favorite for the Heisman this year. So I'm gonna say Miami -5 too. Go
All
Hurricanes.
right. I like it. I like it. Yep, they just got to quit jacking around and having to play freaking close football games. They just need to go put the stake in somebody and keep smacking it.
Yeah, I don't know. Like they did that the first few games, and then all of a sudden the last two, I'm like, what the hell?
Who are your Buckeyes playing this week, or are they off?
I think I don't see him, but I thought they were playing Indiana or somebody.
Mm,
They play
that's true.
Indiana
Them.
already.
They do play Indiana.
Well, it's not Ohio at Miami because if it were, they'd be favored more than 3.5, or they're actually not favored. So that's a different Ohio team. Where's Ohio State? Damn it! I wish this would be like in order, like top 25, but it's not.
Mm,
Um, there's Georgia. There's this. I don't see them. Maybe they do have a bye.
I got it. I'm gonna be on a buy. Let's see. I just did a filter on mine by top 25. Now that would be the for Saturday.
What does it say? Anything? Do you see it?
I'm scrolling because Nebraska plays Indiana, Alabama, Tennessee, Michigan, Illinois, A&M, Mississippi State, LSU, Arkansas, Kansas State, Virginia, UCF, Iowa State, Georgia, Texas, SMU, Stanford. So they must be on a high. They're licking their wounds and getting ready for the next week.
Well, licking their wounds, they lost by a point. It was really not like,
A loss is a loss, sister.
yeah, but it wasn't like they got killed. They are not licking
No,
their, they're going to come back and kill someone. That's really
oh,
what.
that's because they played the freaking Catholic Church of the Blind's freaking handicap team for the first 4 weeks of the year.
Oh, stop it.
That was a good game, though. I mean, it sucks that you're on the other side of it, but still was a good game. Intense, close.
It was very, very good game. Very, very good game. And they only went down one. They went down two. They went down to number 4 instead of,
Yeah,
so I think they'll be there in the mix at the end.
yeah, they
Yeah,
will. They just a
they've
little
got
tighter rope, but not
their
a
next
lot. So,
challenges is after that would be Penn State and then the game. The game.
Michigan.
Yeah,
They'll probably play Oregon again in the conference championship. So,
could be. Could be. And then even if they do that again, then they'll probably see him again in the playoffs. It could work out that way. I'm excited for the college football playoffs though this year.
yeah, this will be really cool watching that and seeing
Yeah.
how that plays out, shakes out. More football. Can't go wrong with that.
Nope, can't go wrong. And it's exciting. Well, that's all we
Exactly.
got for you guys this week. So tune in till this week and then tune in next week. And
Deuces.
then we'll see you again.